Hey witches, welcome to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy, a magical living podcast for the busy witch. I'm Morgan, eclectic witch of almost 25 years, Avalon priestess, and busy witch. Here we'll talk all things witchy, from current metaphysical happenings to my busy witch tips and tricks, and everything in the in-between. This podcast is my personal journey, filled with my knowledge, opinions, and unique way of looking at the world. Join me as I weave the magical and the mundane in every episode. Hey witches, welcome back to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy. I'm Morgan, and today I'm talking about easy magic for when you don't feel magical. Now, for the last 2 months, I looked it up. It's been 10, 11 weeks, something like that. So going on 3 months. I have done a lot of talk about things like spiritual exhaustion, burnout, if you're feeling disconnected, if you're feeling out of alignment. And I think that, even your feedback has let me know that that's what a lot of you are feeling right now. So today's episode is kind of a continuation about that, but with a twist. Okay. I'm going to talk about a mindset shift that can hopefully help you and help that light bulb come on when you're not feeling very magical, but also easy practices to do when you aren't feeling your witchy self, okay? So maybe you're not necessarily burned out or spiritually exhausted, but you feel just more of a misalignment somewhere. You're looking up here, but you're seeing down here. And for those who are not watching on YouTube, I sorry, because I know it's hard to explain when I say here and here, but you just don't feel aligned, okay? And then I'm also going to go over some practices that you are probably already doing that you don't even realize are magical, okay? But the biggest part of this whole episode is the mindset shift that I'm really hoping to convey properly so that light bulbs go on for all of you, okay? So this stemmed this week from, I've been kind of feeling more like I've been in work mode, and I've been dominating work mode. Don't get me wrong. This is the beginning of our busy season. And technically, even though it's the beginning of our busy season here, it's also our busy season, the planning for our busy season started months ago. Okay. So we went from planning the busy season to now planning the holiday season while in the busy season. It's fun. It's fun owning a witchcraft store. Anyway, so I feel like I've been more back into divine masculine, go, 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 action, push, motivation, work mode, and less in the divine feminine flow, rest, nurturing mode. So I took this to my business coach and I said, I just feel like there's this misalignment that I'm not burning out. In fact, the opposite is actually true this time of year. I for a lack of a better way to put it, and I don't want to send up red flags for you all, but I almost feed off of this time of year. For me, it's the more that we get done and the more that we do, that just adds fuel to my fire to do more and get more done. So I usually am really good from September until December. And then we all take off at the end of December for a week, and that's usually when I crash and burn. But the momentum of busy season and everything keeps me moving forward, generally speaking. So, so I'm not hitting burnout or anything like that. I just felt misaligned. And so I took this to my business coach, and she helped me reframe this thought and reminded me of something that I tell you all the time. In fact, I would say that here on my podcast, it's my catchphrase. Yeah, it's just, I didn't think of it the correct way. And yes, I said correct because, we'll get into it. Okay, so what I always say is you are the magic. I always say that. Now, this applies, generally speaking, to the concept or the idea that you don't need any tools to practice magic. You need yourself, your energy, and your intention. And that is all that you technically need to perform any type of magic and to manifest and to make your dreams come true, okay? Or to manifest your desires in life. Now, this is where she helped me rephrase this so much. It also applies, you are the magic, also applies to the concept that you are divine energy. You are divine masculine energy and divine feminine energy, and combined, you are divine energy. Okay? And this is what I was forgetting. This is what me and Go Mode forgot, which we all need reminders. Okay. I've been a practicing witch for over 25 years. And I say all the time, every week, I think in every single episode, at least once, I will slip it in. You are the magic. And yet I didn't forget that I was the magic. I forgot that not only does that apply to you being able to perform magic and sending your intentions into the world, but it also applies to the concept that you are divine energy. Okay. And you have divine energy in you. You have the exact same energy that gods and goddesses have in them, especially if you have deities or you are familiar with deities that were once human, were once mortal. For example, Rhiannon. She is one of my matron goddesses. And in her story, she was a regular person. She was a mortal. She was a mortal. I don't want that to have come out sounding like she was immortal. She was a mortal, a human. And through the shit she went through in her life, she was raised to goddess or divine status. Hercules is another one. He was just a demigod. His dad was Zeus. So he was just a demigod, but because of the things he did in his life and everything, at the end of all of it, he was raised to god status. Psyche is another one. She was born a mortal. Just making sure that's clear for the audio. She was born a human. Let's just go with that. She was born a human. And because of everything she went through, she was raised to goddess status. So just as these gods and goddesses were divine, you are divine as well. Okay? You have the same energy. And overall, you have divine feminine, divine masculine energy in you, which makes you divine energy. Therefore, and I'm going to say this slowly, everything you do is magical, even if you don't think it is. Because you are divine energy, then everything you do can be considered magical. Okay? This is the most powerful mindset shift that you can ever have in your life. I truly feel that is the understanding that you are the magic, and that means you are divine energy. So therefore, everything you do is also divine energy or is magic. And I love that. And that is what I had forgotten. And that is what my business coach helped me remember. Okay. I'm hoping that this reawakens. If you have been feeling a little burned out or misaligned or exhausted, I'm hoping that this reawakens the divine spark within you, and that you understand that this is my divine energy talking to your divine energy. Okay. I'm trying to help reignite your spark the way that my business coach helped light that up in me. Okay. All right. Notebook flip. I got lots of pages of notes this time too, you guys. All right. So once the concept of you are divine energy, therefore everything you do can be thought of as magic. Once that concept settles in you and you're like, yeah, all right, I'm with you. So even if it's not quite settled, maybe you're at least like, all right, where are we going, Morgan? Where are we going? What happens is once it starts to settle, you stop beating yourself up so much about quote unquote not feeling magical or not performing magic or not doing spell work. And I'm doing the bunny quotation mark ear thingies. Because that's what a lot of it is you think to yourself, I don't feel magical. I don't feel witchy, or I'm not doing spells. I'm not doing magic. I'm not doing a ritual. So therefore I don't feel witchy, or I'm not a witch, or at least right now I'm not a witch because I'm not a practicing witch. And that's what I want you to break up with. I want you to break up with that concept, and I want you to tell the guilt and the shame to fuck off, because you don't have to be performing magic or doing spell work to be magical or to be a witch. It's just an energy that you embody all the time. And now knowing or having that reframe of like, yes, I am the magic. I am the divine energy. That means everything I do is magical. Okay. And just, I want to clarify for those watching this on YouTube, you see the light keeps going. We were supposed to get a hurricane and that son of a bitch veered off. Like, it was a hurricane off the coast of Mexico, and it was supposed to come up and like slam us at noon today. And just for reference, I'm taping this at around 2 p.m. That bitch veered off to the east and cut through Mexico and is now heading to like Texas and bypassed us completely, but it left some of its non-rain filled clouds here. So I'm a little bitter about that because we were supposed to have 2 days of rain and now it went around the desert. Anyway, so that's why, just for those watching, like 1 minute it's dark in here, 1 minute it's light in here. It's because the non-rain producing clouds are swinging around. Anyway, so that was a fun tangent for those who aren't watching this on YouTube, because you're like, what is she even talking about? Okay, so once this concept of you are divine energy settles within you, you start to understand that rest is sacred, which I know I've definitely been saying that a lot on recent podcast episodes. But rest is just as important as productivity, okay? And you can reframe your periods of rest. I love this. Are y'all ready? As recharging your magical battery. And I love that. And that was something that my business coach helped me do. But you're going to be recharging your magical battery for when you are in a flow state. Okay. So I know that in one of the episodes recently, I talked about ebb states and flow states and how even the moon goes through phases and is never apologetic for being dark for a couple of days and then being full for a couple of days. So you should not be apologetic either. This is what I'm talking about. Let's reframe balance for a second. Okay. Because a lot of people, if I were to say to you, okay, you're striving for balance, what does that mean for you? And for a lot of people, that means 50-50. Okay. Like I'm at least 50% dark, 50% light. I'm 50% productive, 50% rest, which that's not even the way it is in America. In America, it's like 90% productive, 0% rest. And I don't know where the other 10% went. Anyway, so balance doesn't have to be 50-50. Okay. What you're aiming for with balance is equaling 100%. So what this means is when you are in an ebb state, which means you're retreating, you're kind of going into yourself, you're resting, that plus your flow state, your productivity, you're out, you're getting things done. That needs to equal 100%. And it can fluctuate. So I know that the people in Ink Spirit and I have talked about it, finding out like what moon phase you're born under or tracking your personal ebbs and flows. And I know even in the podcast, I've definitely urged you all to track your ebbs and flows. Okay. Let's say you've been doing that. And let's say that you find out, for example, that during every full moon, you are drained of energy. And that happens to some people. For me, I was born during a full moon. So when full moons come, and if you can't tell, I am actually recording this a couple of days before the full lunar eclipse, the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. So I'm like high energy, okay? Because I was born under a full moon. So the closer for me it gets to full moons, I sleep less, I do more, I have more ideas come to me. This is a flow state for me, okay? Which means during new moons, I'm drained, I'm done, I'm dead to the world, okay? So let's say you've been tracking your own ebbs and flows, your own energetic ebbs and flows. And if you haven't been, now's the time for you to start tracking that. Just put a little, like in your daily planner, put a little up arrow to mean you were high energy and a little down arrow to mean low energy or whatever you want to do. But let's say you've tracked this pattern, okay? So you get high or low at a full moon, for example, then you understand that when you are resting during your low periods, this is when you are recharging your magical battery, okay? This is when your balance may look like 30-70, 30% productive, 70% rest. And what you're doing is you're resting with intention, you're resting consciously, you're resting mindfully, so that you know, like, I'm going to recharge my magical battery. So the closer we get to a full moon, this is my example, the closer I get to a full moon, when all of a sudden I switch to 70-30, I'm going to have that energy to run off of because I rested during the 30-70 phase and I recharged my magical battery. And that has been life-changing for me, that thought process. And that, I mean, I've been consciously and mindfully resting now for a while. But this whole like balance is not 50-50. It can look like 30-70. It can look like 80-20. It can look like 90-10 or 10-90. That was a huge mind shift for me. Absolutely massive, because most people think balance is 50-50. Or even if you're used to, let's say, working 9 to 5. Okay, 9 to 5, I have to be productive. And then I don't sleep until 10 p.m. at night. And let's say I sleep 10 to 6. Those are the only rest hours I'm allowed during the day. That's bullshit, you know? So you have to not only look at your personal ebbs and flows, but you have to look at rest when you're in an ebb state. That rest is recharging your magical battery for when you're in a flow state. And then you can just go during your flow state, knowing that an ebb state is going to be coming around. And that's when you can recharge your magical battery. Now, even when you're in a flow state, please recharge your magical battery. Okay, please do that. Like, take time off. Like, even though I'm in a flow state right now, I'm going to hit a point this evening where I'm going to, shut the computer. I'm going to probably, I'm not even going to probably, let me see. We have a Dexter finale. We have a Peacemaker. Now you get to see what I do with my time. I love it. My husband and I have TV shows that we watch. We also have like a Lone Wolf, I think. So I'm going to be consciously sitting there and resting and doing this. And while I'm resting, I'm going to be thinking about recharging my magical battery. Okay. So now that we have reframed balance, we're going to head back to you are magical, you are divine energy, letting this land in you, and knowing that, yes, if I am divine energy, then everything I do is magical. Now, let's talk about some things that you're probably already doing as a witch, stuff that you've probably been doing for a while that are unconscious things for you. You just do them out of habit, out of having done them for 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Okay. So these small things, you didn't even realize were magical practices. And these are also easy magical practices for when you don't feel magical. Okay. The first thing, stirring intention into your morning drink. For me, that's just become habit. As I'm stirring my coffee and I stir clockwise, I just think about my day. Like, oh, today I've got to record my podcast. And, I just want to get a lot done on my to-do list so that I can truly rest, like really rest and not have that little voice in the back of my head, which let me tell you, you can tell that voice to shut up. You don't have to be X amount of productive in order to rest. Rest is sacred. If you need rest, take it. It is just as sacred as productivity. But for me, it's how much do I want to wrestle with that little voice in the back of my head? How much do I want to tell it to shut up? Like, okay, if I can get a lot of my to-do list, then I don't even talk to it. It's like, fuck you. I did a shit ton today and I'm going to fucking rest. But even if I didn't get everything on my to-do list done, I'm still going to rest because I understand now how important rest is for me and how sacred rest is. Okay. But yeah, stirring my intention into my morning drink. I don't even know how I just got on that tangent. That was a fun one. Anyway, stirring my intention into my drink in the morning, like into my coffee. I stir clockwise, and if nothing else, I take a big deep breath in and exhale out all the bullshit. And I'm like, I want to take this peace and this comfort with me throughout the day, because that cup of coffee is going to comfort the shit out of me in the morning. So, the second thing, how many of you use either makeup or jewelry, like you wear it every single day? This is glamour magic. You are adorning things that make you feel amazing. You're not wearing those rings, those necklace, that earrings for anyone else. You're doing it for you. Hopefully you're doing it for you. Hopefully, if you are a person who wears makeup, you are doing it for you. You're not doing it because you feel like you're hideous without makeup. You do it because you enjoy how it makes you feel. So think of adorning your rings, adorning your necklaces, your earrings, or even if you're consciously choosing what colors to wear during a day. This is all magical. This is all a form of glamour magic. And I hope that you all understand glamour magic enough to know that glamour magic does not mean trying to like pull the wool over other people's eyes or trying to cast glamours on them. Glamour magic is just a self-confidence type of magic. And while a lot of glamour magic is used for making sure that other people see you a certain way, it's basically a self-confidence boost for yourself, which is then in turn a power boost for yourself. And that's how the majority of glamour magic should be, honestly. And I know I try not to say should or never or always, but that's what your aim for glamour magic should be, is a confidence boost for yourself and a power boost for yourself. So if dressing a certain way or wearing certain jewelry or, doing your makeup or not doing your makeup, whatever it is, that is a form of glamour magic. Okay. The third one, have you ever cleaned your house, your sacred space, whatever, because you just felt funky? That is cleansing. That's cleaning and cleansing to cause an energy shift. Yeah. You think you're just like, what is that funky smell? Oh my God, I need to clean. And then you start cleaning and you think that's all mundane. You just wanted to get rid of the funky smell. But energetically, what was happening is you had something in your environment that was causing your energy to shift to a negative state. And so you were like, fuck it, I'm going to clean, find this funky smell, take the trash out, mop the floors, vacuum, dust. And all of a sudden you feel better. You can breathe more. You're happier. You have a sense of pride. You're like, man, look what I did. My house looks nice now. And you relax fully after that. You just cleansed, you just cleaned, and it caused an energetic shift. So now the next time you got that funky smell and you start cleaning, do it with intention. Be like, okay, not only am I cleaning my house, but I'm also shifting the energy to a more positive state, because that's an act of magic. Okay. The fourth thing, burning, this is my favorite too. Burning incense or a candle for a mood or an atmosphere. Or again, you got that funky smell and you want to get rid of it. You are still burning incense, or you're lighting a candle or a wax melt or doing a cauldron simmer, whatever. You are doing this to change your environment to a more positive state. That is magic. So even if you think you are just lighting a candle to cover up funky smell, you're performing magic. The next one, how many of you talk to your plants? How many of you talk to your plants even on a day, especially on a day when you feel real shitty? Yeah. Okay. So that's called animism. And what animism is believing that everything has a spirit. So you are talking to your plants. If you're a person who talks to your plants, do you think that they're not listening? No, you talk to your plants because you're like, hear me out, Gertrude, my ivy, actually we have an ivy. What is it? I don't know what it's called. Anyway, we call it Monster, because it took over our room once. And then sadly, my husband put Monster outside during monsoon season one year, and poor Monster got overwatered, but we have little baby monsters. And so we call them baby monsters. Like little clippings that I was able to salvage and keep around the house. And every time we salvaged one, now it's like we have one in the kitchen. We have a couple in our Arizona room. So I talk to baby monster all the time, and there's a couple of different baby monsters, but I don't talk to baby monster because I don't think it's listening. I talk to baby monster because it likes to be talked to. And, so that's animism. That's a belief that your plant has a soul. Your plant has energy. Okay. So if you talk to your plants, you're performing magic. and you might be a green witch. I am not, but I'm not a green witch. I have a black thumb, but monster is the only thing we've not been able to fully kill. Because like I said, even though the bulk of the main monster perished in the monsoon of a few years ago, we have baby monsters all over our house. So anyway, if you wear all black, black equals protection. That's why a lot of witches started wearing black back in the day. That's the reason why a lot of them started wearing black, because black equals protection. So if you are donning all black, do it with intention. Like, this is going to protect me from other people's shit. And then the last one, how many of you carry gems or are wearing gems for their energy? Like, oh man, I need a little bit more prosperity today. Let me grab some aventurine, just for those watching on YouTube. Most of these are my daily rings at the moment. I have my Merlinite, which connects me to Avalon. I have my Moldavite, which keeps it keeps divine ideas coming into me. Nope, that's my magnetic ring. And then I do have my Rainbow Moonstone, which is one of the first ones that I ever started working with. But this is my Moonstone Triple Moon ring, so it connects me with divine feminine energy. These are usually my go-tos. I seem to have left my Morganite bracelet on my desk because I have to take it off when I'm writing. And it looks like I forgot to put it back on. But generally speaking, every day I wear a Morganite bracelet because that's my power gemstone. So if you are carrying gems or wearing gems for their property, that's magic. So even if you just are mindlessly putting on jewelry, but then you look down and you realize you've put on some tourmaline for protection or some carnelian because you needed an energy boost. This is all magic, and it's probably something you're doing every single day. All right, flip the notebook. Last page. All right. So even if you feel disconnected or aren't feeling witchy, chances are you are still doing at least one of those practices. And you will have to let me know either in the comments of the video or on Spotify or the social media post where you saw this. Like, which one of these do you do? Or do you have your own practices that maybe you do every day, didn't even realize they were magical, but now after listening to this podcast episode, you're like, holy shit, that is totally whatever, color magic or gemstone magic, or I'm cleansing a space by doing this. Even if I love to tell this too, if you are very angry and you're yelling and screaming just, into the void, and you yell out fuck at the top of your lungs, you're clearing your throat chakra. That's even magical. But yeah, let me know however you're listening to this or watching this, if you do any of these, or if you have other practices that you didn't even realize were witchy until listening to this episode. So if you are doing at least one of these, you can tell that guilt, like, oh, I'm not feeling very witchy right now, but hey, I am stirring intentions into my coffee every morning. And then I'm picking out my clothes to match with the day's energy. You can tell the guilt or the shame that, like, that little voice saying, you're not really witchy. You can tell it to fuck off. Okay. So all of those were also very easy magical practices that you can do when you're not feeling witchy or you're not feeling magical. So give one of them a try if you feel like you have that misalignment. And let me tell you, a lot of times misalignments are just about how you're looking at things. So it could just need a mindset shift, which hopefully this episode has done in one way or another, whether you've been able to reframe balance or reframe the statement, you are the magic. Sometimes that's all that's needed to take a misalignment into an energetic alignment again is just reframing how you're looking at something. Okay. So if you are also resting intentionally, not mindlessly, okay, I will say this. If you enjoy mindlessly scrolling on social media, okay, but then you look at the clock and 4 hours have gone by and you feel like shit, but you still enjoy getting your little witch talk in or heading to Instagram and scrolling, set a timer. And then then you're entering into it more mindfully. Like, okay, for the next 30 minutes, I'm really going to give myself over to witch talk, And then with the end of 30 minutes, you're like, okay, I got my break in, but you did it with intention. Okay. So I don't want to confuse this next part of what I'm going to say with mindlessly doing shit or mindlessly, not doing anything. Okay. You need to do things mindfully. Even if you are doing nothing, do it mindfully. Meaning, like, for example, okay, when I get home, sometimes I have to work. Sometimes I didn't get everything done here. But more often than not, nowadays, I walk home and I think, okay, was there anything else I needed to get done? And then I'm like, no. And I'm like, fuck yes. And I go to my bedroom and my routine is I pull off all the jewelry. The bra goes, the jeans, the pants, whatever go. And then I'm putting on comfy slacks, like pajama pants. But as I'm doing this, I am almost going into a level of comfort. Everything that I do puts me into a deeper level of relaxation as I do it. Okay. So as I take off the rings and all the jewelry, it's like all of my energy level relaxes a level. My energy, relaxes a level. So then I unhook the bra, pull it out from my sleeve, throw it wherever I throw my bras, which is usually on the ottoman at the foot of our bed. And that relaxes me one more level. Then I unhook the pants, throw them in the hamper. That drops me even further down into comfort I'm doing this mindfully. Then I grab for my my pajama pants, my fuzzy ones. And as I put them on, it drops, I intentionally drop my energy down one more level. So by the time I walk out of that room, I almost look drunk. I look like I have been sleeping or laying in bed for 4 hours. And I love when I see TikToks or Instagram reels about this same subject. It's like how quickly women can get comfortable once they get home versus men. I love it because that is me. But for me, it's an energy thing too. So I am taking off everything in a mindful way. I am doing this mindfully and intentionally so that by the time the pajama pants come on, and that's usually the last step, I am so relaxed that it doesn't matter if I plop into bed or in a recliner, or even if I have to go cook dinner, it doesn't matter. My energy is at full relaxation mode. That's what I mean when I talk about relaxing mindfully or even doing nothing mindfully. Okay. So even if I crawl into bed and I turn on Only Murders in the Building, which is my current binge at the moment, I'm doing it mindfully. I literally get into bed and I state out loud. So you can do this too. As long as you do things with intention, or you even state an intention and pair it with an action, then that's magic, because that's what magic is intention. Okay. So like, as I get into bed to turn on Hulu, I'm stating, even when I'm resting, I'm magical. So you can even set an intention like that. Or I will state, like, now I'm going to recharge my magical battery, and I get into bed and I pull my little soft blankets up around my face and I get all happy and I hit play on whatever it is I'm watching at the moment. I do it with intention. I do it consciously and mindfully. Okay. But you can take anything that you're doing and say, even when I'm resting, even when I'm showering, even when I'm driving to work, I am magical. Even when I'm at at work performing mundane tasks, I am magical. Just state this out loud before you do anything, and you'll feel that energy shift within you. And that's all it takes sometimes. Like I said, is a reframe of mindset or a shift in your energy to a more magical state. Okay. So make up, even when I'm magical, or make up your own, whatever resonates with you. Okay. Other ways that you can add intention to mundane activities to make them magical. If you're salting and peppering your dinner, just for a second, be like, as I salt, I cleanse away negative energy. As I add pepper, I'm protecting myself from this negative energy being reattached to me. Bam. You just took salt and peppering your food to a whole new level. When you light a candle for a scent, because you got a funky scent in your house and you don't feel like cleaning it right now, take 1 minute to gaze into the flame. Take a deep breath and allow the flame to absorb any stress or tension that you have, or open yourself up and see if any thoughts or messages come through. Just take a minute when you light that candle. I find myself gazing into the candle like a weirdo anyway. As soon as I light it, I just kind of get lost in it. I'm a pyromaniac. So yeah. Anyway, or walk outside barefoot and visualize, the negative energy going out of you into the ground and Mother Earth replacing it with cleansed energy, or visualize your realignment of your energy, or take a deep breath and just, be in nature for a moment. These are all ways that once you just add intention to mundane activities, you're making them magical. Very easy ways to do this. Okay. So that's what I have for you all this week. For Patreon bonus, I do have my personal practices or reminders for when I'm not feeling witchy. So I just have a few that I didn't mention here in the podcast, although I did mention a lot here in the podcast. But with a paid Patreon membership, not only do you get access to bonus content for every single podcast episode, but you also get a shout out. And holy crap, you guys, there have been a lot for the last week. I think I did have a couple of extra days in between tapings though. But thank you. Holy shit. Thank you to Bewitched Life for being a paid Patreon member. Thank you to Vanessa, to Linda. Thank you. Veronica and Nadia. Thank you so much for becoming paid Patreon members this week. I hope you all enjoy diving into all of the past content for all the past episodes. You can head to patreon.com/InkedGoddessCreations. I do have a free tier, which it's spooky season, so I'm going to start pumping some stuff out on the free tier here soon. But my paid tiers, the lowest one is just $5 a month, gets you access to the bonus content for every podcast episode. There's 2 other tiers that give you some bonuses, so you'll just have to read about everything there. But I definitely want to thank you all for being here, and for being listeners. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, because it helps the algorithm spit the podcast out to other magically curious people like you. And we are in spooky season, so you can hit up inkgoddesscreations.com for all kinds of spooky gifts, like stuff, tools, gemstones. The spooky season started at the beginning of September. We're running full steam ahead through all of October, including our 31 Days of Samhain free event, which will start October 1st. That's a free event every single day on our website. But yeah, I'm so happy it's spooky season. Yeah. So thank you all for listening, and I will see you all next week. Bye. If you're looking for a magical community where you can just be yourself, check out my Ink Spirit Coven. The Coven is an online learning circle for eclectic witches who want to learn new witchcraft practices and how to easily incorporate magic into their daily lives, all while being supported on their personal spiritual journey. And you'll have me as your magical mentor, sharing my knowledge, answering questions, and facilitating the online community. Head to inkspirit.com to learn more and join. And if unique witchcraft supplies made by witches for witches is just what you need, head to my store, inkgoddesscreations.com, to see what we have to enhance your magical practice. We also have the Ink Goddess Creations box, a monthly subscription of Magick mail filled with exclusive items that fit a magical theme. Head to the site to see this month's theme and sneak peeks.